Okay, so here I am with lesson 2 of the Red Jenny first year Latin workbook. Our objectives for lesson 2: to understand what is meant by person and number of a verb, along with the agreement of the verb with its subject, to learn that the direct object of a verb is in the accusative case, and to learn the conjugation of the present tense active voice. Here it says of a Latin verb, we're looking at the first conjugation. Just like we had first declension for nouns, now we have first conjugation for verbs. Again, I'm going to try and keep these videos under 15 minutes. I'm looking at 2 videos perhaps per workbook lesson packet. Let's see how we do. Lesson facts. This work is to be completed with your book closed after you have thoroughly studied the lesson. This would be maybe perhaps called a self-check. Do you feel like you've got it? If you can complete it without looking back at the book, yes, you have. So let's roll. How are the person and number of a verb shown in English grammar? We show it through personal pronouns. I, you, he, she, it. We, you, they. We also use helping verbs, which can show what person and number the verb is. How are person and number shown in a Latin verb? With the ending. Just like the ending shows the number and case of a noun, it shows the person and number of a verb. So what are we doing? Number 3, write the personal endings for the active voice of Latin verbs and give the English pronoun equivalents. Personal ending O or M, S, T, mus, tis, nt. What are our English pronouns? I, you singular, he, she, it. We can also use a singular nominative as a replacement for the pronoun he, she, or it. Mus, we, first person plural. You, plural. If you're from the South, you might say y'all. Nt is they, or a plural nominative replacement. Number 4, write the conjugation of occupo in the present tense indicative mood active voice. That is the only tense, mood, and voice we know so far. It's a good thing they gave us that one. Occupo, the second principal part, is occupare. Occupare. Now remember, first person, singular, present tense, indicative mood, active voice is the first principal part, occupo. Much like we memorized the nominative, and that was the first form, we memorize first person, present tense, occupo. The rest of the forms we form using the second principal part minus the RE, occupa. Now, I could put my macron in now, that long mark over the A, but before T and NT, that long mark drops off. So if you're not sure where you keep it, where you drop it, you might just want occupa at this point. Occupa. Occupas, occupat, occupamus, occupatis, occupant. I know my long marks stay for first and second person. Occupo, occupas, occupat. Occupamus, occupatus, occupant. Our first conjugation verb conjugated. Give two possible translations of laudat. Now, I'm not just saying he versus she versus it. I'm talking the actual verb. He, she, or it praises. He, she, or it does praise. And I will go ahead and give the third way. Praises, does praise, he is praising. Now, because we say he, she, it can sound like we're talking about three separate beings. And sometimes that does becomes a do, or the is and are. Just remember, we're only using one of those options at a time. He praises. She does praise. It is praising. I said it that way to stress that it's a singular helping verb. But any of those forms can use the he, the she, or the it. She can do the praising and he can do the does praising, or he can is praising. Any questions on that? Let me know. After each of the English expressions below, write the Latin word equivalent. I love, amo. I carry. Am I low enough on the page? I am not. I love, amo. I carry, porto. Remember we portage a canoe? Porto. Let me check my time. I'm going to try and get done the exercises, the lesson facts, all the way down to the drills before I hit my time. Looks like we're on good time. I'm at 7 minutes. I praise, laudo. Laudo. I seize, I prepare, I fight, I look at, I call. So for each of these examples, we're giving the first principal part. We're giving it the vocabulary listing, the way that it is listed in our book. Now, for number 7, fill in the blanks after each verb listed with the person and number in translation. So in the example, paras, I see the S is my ending. I identify that para is the verb stem. The S tells me that it's second person singular, and I translate paro, parara as prepare, so it's you singular prepare. Now let's go laudo. So I divide my stem from my ending. I see my ending is T, and T is third person singular. I don't have NT, so it can't be plural. So I'm going to go third singular. I can use he, she, or it. I'm going to use she. Praises. I could also say she does praise, she is praising. I should not say she are praising, she am praising. I hope that those don't sound right to your ears. But if they do, we'll work on fixing that. Let's pick 2 more to do. So let's do C. I'm going to divide my ending from my vocabulary word. I see that my ending is mus, and mus is first person plural. It means we, and then we woko, wokari. We call. We are calling. We do call. Any of those would be appropriate translations for wokamus. Wokamus. Let's look next at G. Dant. Dant. So we recognize that A is our STEM eval, so our ending is NT. NT tells us third plural. DA is our verb. Now, if we backtrack, remember we cut the RE off of the STEMmy part. So the actual verb was do-dari, do-dari, to give. That's actually where we get the name of the case dative. Remember, we need a verb of giving, showing, or telling to have an indirect object. So dari gave its name to give to the indirect object. Third person plural, they give, they do give, they are giving. Any of those are workable solutions for don't. Two more. Let's see if we can get them done before I hit my time limit. And then in part 2, I will look at the drills. In Latin, in what case is the subject of a verb? We use the nominative case for the subject. And that's if in place of third person, singular, or plural. We give, the woman gives. The woman gives is femina dot. Femina dot. In what do Latin verbs agree with their subject? In person and number. So if we have a singular verb, we have to have a singular nominative subject or a singular pronoun subject. I, you singular, he, she, it, or a singular nominative. Plural, I either have we, you plural, they, or a plural nominative. In Latin, what is the case of the direct object of the verb? Accusative. Accusative direct object. That brings us to the end of Lesson 2, Workbook Packet, Exercises, the Lesson Facts portion, 1 to 9. I'll see you in just a moment for the drills.